Hey everyone, I'm Steve. I'm an astrologer, and this video is about the 12 astrological planets. I recently did a video on the 12 astrological signs. This one's on the planets. As you can see in our chart here, this middle ring is telling us about the planets that rule the different signs. Now, traditional astrology only recognizes 10 planets in astrology. I believe there's 12. I've made some changes to this chart, but you can see here Ceres, I believe, is ruling the sign of Virgo. Ceres is a dwarf planet in the asteroid belt. Next, Libra. I believe that there is a planet ruling Libra at 20 degrees of Cancer. I've named that planet Campania. The scientists, the astronomers, they have not discovered this planet, but I believe it's there. And you can watch my past videos for more on that. And then a Scorpio, I believe that there is a planet at 1 degree of Pisces. I have named that planet Vader after the Star Wars character. Again, this has not been discovered yet, but I believe it's there. As we go around the 12 planets here, this video is really about the fact that planets can do something that signs and houses cannot, and that is they can form angles or aspects to one another. So I'll give you an example of what I mean here. This is the chart of Elvis Presley. And up here in the 8th house, you can see the 8 right here. We have Ceres and Pluto in the sign of Cancer. Now, we consider these two planets conjunct. They are in conjunction with one another because they're right next to one another. That has meaning, and we'll get to that here in a minute. Opposing or across from these two planets is Mercury, and Mercury is what would be called in opposition to these two planets. This is just a couple of examples of the aspects, and I'm just going to go through the major ones here. We just talked about the conjunction, and that's when two planets are 0 degrees away from one another. In this case, the moon. It could be any planet, doesn't really matter. But any planet that's close, and let's say within 5 degrees of another planet, is considered to be in conjunction. Next, we have what is called the opposition. In this case, the sun is opposing another planet that's 180 degrees away. And we just saw an example of that. That's the opposition. Next, we have a trine. The trine is when a planet, in this case Mars, is 120 degrees away from another planet. Next, we have the square. In this case, Venus is 90 degrees away from another planet. We call that a square. And lastly, we have the sextile. And that's when two planets are 60 degrees away from one another. Now, believe it or not, these aspects actually have meaning. And I'll explain. Here are the aspects. The ones on the left are considered to be difficult. So we just saw the opposition, we saw the square. We saw the conjunction down here. We'll get to the neutral one down here in a minute. But opposition, square, semi-square, which is 45 degrees, the semi-sextile, which is 30 degrees, the quarter sextile, which is 15. These are going to show up in your chart in areas where you struggle. So think of an area of your life where things are difficult for you. Maybe they've always been difficult. These difficult aspects are going to tell us exactly that, the areas of your life where you struggle. To the contrary, we have aspects that are really easy. 120 degree trine and the 60 degree sextile, which we just looked at. Those areas of your life where you don't struggle, where things are just sort of handed to you. Maybe you grew up and had a really great childhood, or maybe you've got a really great career or a really great marriage. Didn't really have to work hard. Those things just happen for you. That's going to show up in your chart with aspects that are easy. Lastly, we have the neutral, the one and only neutral aspect, and that's the conjunction. The reason it's considered neutral is because it depends on what planets are aspecting that conjunction. So if we go back to Elvis Presley's chart, we can see that Ceres and Pluto up here in the 8th house, they're actually opposed by Mercury. This is a difficult aspect. Down here we have Uranus. It's squaring It's about 90 degrees away, not exactly, but it's within 5 degrees of squaring Pluto and Ceres. So this is how the aspects work in a chart. We'll dive into this much more as we go through chart interpretation in the future. If you do want me to look at your chart and you're willing to do a live stream or a Zoom video, you can email me your birth information at domychart@gmail.com. You'll need to include exact birth time from your birth certificate as well as your birth date and birthplace. And I'll set up your chart and we'll go from there. So thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.